one of the times where I really felt the love and I felt supported by my team was at the end of my first season, which was last year. We have a big banquet every year. At that banquet, we give out honors for people who have exemplified certain talents and strengths throughout the year. And I was named the offensive MVP for my team. And that was such a big honor. It was recorded, and I got a standing ovation when the honor was presented, and it felt so good because I don't work for that, I don't play the game for that, but it was such a nice honor to have that moment where your team stood up and really got behind the fact that you led the team offensively and made a difference in what was my rookie season. So that was a really great moment for me.
So a time that I felt very supported by my team was actually when I was pregnant with my fourth son. And my team actually shared the gender reveal with me. So after practice, I kicked a football that had powder in it to show what color, for the baby, the gender. And I kicked the football, and it was blue powder everywhere, and everybody screamed in excitement. Of course, I wanted a girl, but it was really great to share that moment with my team. So a time that I felt the most supported with the DC Divas was about 3 years ago when my mom found out that she had cancer. So one thing that the team did to support me was wear the color green on their cleats. So everyone had like a green ribbon or a green anything to support me and my mom during that time.
All right, and welcome back. We're going to continue this awesome conversation, this dialogue that we're having today. I want to switch gears a bit, all right? And I want to ask you all, if you could name a rival team, what team would that be, or teams would you consider to be your rivals? Who would like to go first?
I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll start out with, I think everyone we play is a rival. Because since I've known the DC Divas, I've known the Divas and their history to be the standard bearers for the league. So everyone's coming after us, no matter who we play. Now, Rich can attest to maybe some more historic games before my time.
Yes.
Boston and so forth. But I would say everyone that we play is a rival. Because everyone, if they beat us, they may consider it a successful season.
Wow.
So I think we've set the standard, for level of play in the league, and teams are coming for us.
I love that.
Since setting that standard, multiple teams have come for us, right? So in the early days, it was the Baltimore Burn, the natural geographic rival, all of that, right?
Yes.
That was the early days. Then it became the Detroit Demolition, who were wildly successful in the early 2000s, right? Then you moved into this Boston rivalry over time. Pittsburgh's been our longest, probably current rival as the Pittsburgh Passion. Boston has gone through the Massachusetts Mutiny, the Boston Rampage, the Militia, the now they're the Renegades, right? And have been very successful. So the Renegades and Boston are clearly our present day arch rival in terms of their success. We're the last team to beat them. We often traded whoever won would be the national champion type of feeling.
Yes.
Other teams have risen to make that even more competitive now. But I would say ultimately, for a different answer, the rival ultimately is us. We can look at other colors, and that gets exciting. You think about records and opportunities, but really the rival is right in the mirror, and us collectively as a unit to be the very best we can be. And then that kind of takes care of the other questions or thoughts about rivals and results.
Yeah. It's something to consider, even in my professional career. It's not about the other folks. It's about me. Thank you. Felicia.
I concur. Every day I look in the mirror and say, what can I do better to make me better for the team? And there's always a list. So I can't focus on who's across from me. I have to focus on how can I make myself better mentally, how can I make myself better physically, how can I be more supportive for my teammates. And that's it. When I've checked off all those boxes, then I can focus on the other people. But that list is always growing. And just me, a slight perfectionist, I'm always trying to be better. And I can always be better. There's still so much to learn, and there's so much to improve upon.
Absolutely.
The rivalry is the other team. The rival is right here.
Yeah. Let's see what the DC Divas have to say about that, okay? We'll be back.
The DC Divas' biggest rival is no doubt the Boston Renegades. They are our arch rivals in the WFA Pro. They are a tough team. They are a very seasoned team. They've been playing together in their same unit for probably 10 years together, so they are very hard to beat. They are our toughest competition, but we will beat them. We have had their number, and we've given them a good go, but they are definitely our toughest rivals in the WFA Pro.
The Divas' biggest rival is the Boston Renegades. It's been years since we were able to beat them. So our goal now is to defeat them. So that is our biggest rival.
Oh, the biggest rivals for DC is Boston, of course. Historically with the season, with the league, it's always come down to DC and Boston for the championship. So each year, DC and Boston are neck and neck, ranking number 1 and number 2 in the country. So Boston has always been a tough team to beat for us.
And we're back. Thank you for staying with us. We're going to keep this dialogue going. I hope you guys are having a good time, because I am. Listen, now I want to ask you all in terms of inspiration and empowerment. And we talked about the back history of how you've gotten here and just adding more context to the story. But who inspires you? Who inspires you to do what it is that you do? How you show up every day on the field, how you help to keep the team organized and show the responsibility of being the owner, and you with community relations, getting folks to pay attention, to see what you all are doing. But who inspires you to continue the work that you're doing and how you've gotten here? Yes.
So I'll take it. I would say Coach Patrice Bowman is my inspiration. Not only did she play for the team, she was on the offensive line. So that's where I am, and she is the offensive line coach. And for me, the way she taught me is the way I think and the way I needed to be taught, being completely new to the sport of football. And the way she gives herself tirelessly to the community, to the team, like every single fabric of her is her why in terms of us being the Divas, why she shows up for us on a daily basis. And honestly, if it weren't for Coach Pap, I don't even know how I would be able to sustain in football. She just gives of her heart, her soul, and like every single thing she can for us. And that's my inspiration, because I look and I say, if Coach Pap is wearing 7 different hats, then these 2 little hats that I'm wearing is more, it's fine.
Yes.
I can do it. I can handle it.
All right. You hear that, Coach Pap?
Coach Pap.
All right, Coach Pap. And next, inspiration. Who inspires?
I have a few. So I will first start with all the ladies on the team. Right. So their energy, their passion is what motivates me to do what I do. They always say, if you do something that you love, it's not work.
That is true.
So they make it very easy for us. Since I've been in the game, I'll have to give enormous credit to our head coach, Alyssa Marful. She has taught me how to be a better coach in this league, how to develop women athletes, how to balance patience, understanding, and compassion. Because as males coming in, it's a little bit different for us, right? In coaching males and females, right? So from a male standpoint, I emulate Mike Tomlin, for example, okay? So Mike Tomlin is a no-nonsense guy. He's transparent. He says it like he means it, and there's no hidden agenda.
Right.
He has his Tomlinisms, the standard is the standard, and so forth, right? So I've kind of taken on his model from a coaching standpoint, but internally it's our head coach. She provides the motivation and direction to make us all better, and I really appreciate what she's done to help make me grow in this sport and give back.
That's special. Thank you for sharing that.
It's exceptional, right? So how could you, the 2 people to my left and right, right? Just start there.
Okay.
And go on. I think before I arrived at the Divas, it was people like Joe Jackson Gibbs or Morgan Wooten or other people that had a success level as a coach or as an administrator, as an owner, or someone who helped organize and lift. Not just the program in terms of its on-field success, but you saw the success for years after that with the people who participated in that program. And that kind of faith and role modeling, seeing it, I saw it for years and decades before I ever met the DC Divas. So I think the faith meter is pretty high in there in general. about people and the possibilities. Those role model examples of success, but then caring about the whole and the humility they had in doing that was exceptional. And then the inspiration, as he said, whether it comes every day. Patrice Bowman, I knew as a player in the early 2000s, helped her start her coaching career, suggested she become one right after her playing days were over. That journey came back 15 years later to become our wellness director a year ago, our offensive line coach, now our COO of the team. So the inspiration is daily. It comes in many, many forms. And I'll give you one more just outside the box. If anybody's ever heard of George Raveling, if you have not, look up George Raveling's newsletter. Exceptional basketball coach, exceptional human being, and one of those people that I still find inspiration in from the written word, even when I can't see or meet. Talk to George in person. So it comes from many, many different ways, but no more important than what you see stepping forward every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Wow, the love, and the respect, the mutual respect that you all have for each other, is admirable. Okay, and I also, again, we want to talk to the DC Divas to see who inspires them. You might hear your names. You're not. Listen. So let's stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.
Do I have an idol? That's a tricky question because I have two. And if I mention one and don't mention the other, and I'll get in trouble. But my idol is both my mom and my dad. My dad because he introduced me to sports. I'm from Clarksville, Tennessee, a pretty remote town in Middle Tennessee, and I was a only girl growing up in a household with boys and men. And so my dad really taught me how to be active, how to be competitive. And so I wouldn't be playing football without him. And so he's really my idol, and not just from a sports perspective, but a life perspective of how to be a hard worker and how to really go after what you want in life. So that's why my dad is my idol. My mom is my idol for a lot of the same reasons. She's such a hard worker. She started from the bottom and raised her way up to very, very high levels in her career. I love her drive, her focus, and her work ethic, and I get that from her. So both of my parents are my idols. I can't mention one without the other. So, yeah.
My idol would have to be my grandfather. He pretty much taught me everything that I know. He's always my biggest supporter, and I just love watching his ethics and his values, and being able to just pursue life at the fullest, no matter what comes your way. So he's been my idol my whole life.
So my idol is one of a former diva. Her name is Ashley Wizenot. She's my idol because I got to play underneath her while she was like the USA Hall of Famer, best wide receiver in the league. So my first 2 years I played underneath her, and I was just marking my craft, just watching her. Yes, so my idol is Ashley Wizenot.
All right. Well, that was exciting. And while talking off break, just to let you all know, we have great conversations, by the way, during the videos. But I wanted to follow up, Rich, with you, the question that I'm pondering, just wondering in my mind, in terms of creating this narrative and how we're molding and shaping stories every day. Something is being posted intentionally on Instagram or Facebook. You really want to gain the support, but the respect as well from the audience. We have these strong women who are athletes, who is a full contact sport, and in no way, shape, or form are they asking the rules to be changed or bend, or to bend for them. But Rich, what can we do more of to support the DC Divas and other professional women that are playing this sport?
Well, you're already starting that process because today is critical. You're not just allowing us to talk in a question or a soundbite, but you're actually having a chance to visit and get to know what really does motivate, inspire, who are the DC Divas, who makes us up, our aspirations, our connection points. Right. To say, you know what, I can understand that. I may not be a female who wants to play football, but I can understand women's empowerment. I can understand her lawyer career. Her as a mom. What must that be like to put on pads at the end of the day? All these things, if you don't have the ability to visit, you don't have that connection point necessarily, because it comes in a post or a soundbite or a quick meme or whatever it might be, and that might be enough to get you from the Bahamas to try out, but it may not have that effect on someone else. So as a nonprofit, we give us any number of ways that somebody can support us, from a tax-deductible donation. You may not be able to ever make a game, but you think what we're doing is important in any number of different ways. You can do that. You can certainly buy a season ticket. You can show up at a game. You can support an individual player in their journey. You could offer mentorship or workforce development or career opportunities for growth, because we're all about that.
Absolutely.
Football doesn't last forever, right? And whether you have a job in the NFL, like some of our former players, Callie in Cleveland, or Jennifer in Washington, or other people like Desiree, who's a replay official, all these opportunities that exist in the NFL also exist outside the NFL. And so I'm excited about people who want to connect with us as individuals, think it's cool as a football player, want to be associated with a championship club, and want to see that through as a business or as an individual. There are any number of ways to do that. It's easy to do. So if you have the slightest inspiration to do that, DCDivas.com/donate, right? You have a way to do that easily. But if you really want to get involved, email us, contact the show, contact us at owner@dcdivas.com. We'd be happy to have the conversation about volunteerism, how we can help your community effort, where we can step forward with our ability to do, which is pretty significant and only growing, and then have those abilities to broaden the support system, because it comes from all different ways. And I'll leave you one more. The Washington Commanders. Right? So the NFL has started to lean into flag football all across the country. They're going to be a greater support system for us and for the sport in general. And look out for us playing our home games in 2024 at FedEx Field. Not a done deal yet, but the universe just heard it again. And I think that's kind of the growth and respect and recognition, not just from the football world that we're looking for, but from the greater community, from the business world, to say we have value to offer you, whether it's to be a great recruiter. I mean, imagine her in your building, not every day, but occasionally, right? Incredible, right? So, Ron's busy. I don't know if I can get him out of the government contract, but you know what I'm saying? But that type of opportunity to engage and meet and grow and inspire, that's the currency. That's the value. You can put forth $1. We need to sustain and grow. Don't get us wrong. You know, women's sports in terms of revenue is upside down still. So that's the first point of view you could inspire and change the narrative. But there's so many other ways you can do it too. And we're open to all of them.
Yes, you are. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time. But I want to thank my 3 guests for joining me today on our show. If you would like more information about the DC Divas, the Women's Football Alliance, or the National Women's Football Association, visit DC Divas' website at dcdivas.com. Once again, I'm Krista Branton, and this has been Behind the Helmets. Thank you for watching.